Hey everyone, we just wanted to give you a very warm Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and Happy New Year to all of our listeners. Thank you so much for listening to all of our episodes, and we just hope that you guys have a great holidays.
Absolutely. I know during this time we normally have a weird, crazy, elaborate skit, but we just wanted to take a moment to thank you guys for an extremely successful 2024. May your holidays, your Christmas, and your New Year's be filled with just a whole bunch of fun, a whole bunch of love, and most importantly for us, a whole bunch of video games.
That's right.
Merry Christmas from Lobby Up to you guys.
Merry Christmas. You guys ready? Lobby up.
Hey guys, lobby up.
GG's, lobby up.
Dude, we gotta lobby up.
Lobby up.
Hey, should we lobby up?
Yo, lobby up.
Lobby up, y'all.
Hey, let's grab a beer. Lobby Up.
Welcome everyone to another episode. You've got Matt and Lewis here in the lobby today.
What up, everybody?
So like we said in the beginning, very Merry Christmas to all of you. And we're so excited to be sharing some just very good, wholesome things. And it's hard not to focus on all the negative, but we want to put a spotlight, if you will, on all the good. Most notably, we just recently had the Game Awards happen, and huge upset, just a little sidebar, Astrobot won, which no one really expected. We definitely didn't expect.
Well, no. Let it be known. Go back to the video. I did call.
You
I
did
was
mention
saying
it.
I mentioned Astrobots, and I mentioned that I wouldn't be surprised if they won. But then they won, and guess what? I was pretty surprised. But the internet is still reeling from that victory.
So many people, they could not believe that. And in celebration of that, though, I got to play through some of the new free DLC that's all winter and holiday themed for all of you guys to enjoy. So in between all of our little talks, you can see our favorite little PlayStation Astrobot running around. But in the Game Awards, something really cool happened this year. It was the 10th Game Awards. We expected big things, and something that nobody really expected was something incredibly wholesome. Mr. Amir Satvat was named the Game Changer this year. He received the Game Changer Award, and this is a brand new award just intended to recognize somebody who's had a positive impact on the gaming industry as a whole. Not somebody who's just making a new game or whatever, somebody who's going above and beyond, somebody who clearly just loves video games so much. And I don't know, watching that whole section had me crying in my beer, man.
Dude, I was actually editing our Sea of Stars episode during that during the Game Awards, and just caught myself sweating from my eyes. I'm like, am I crying? What's going on right now?
Dude, Sierra wasn't even watching it, and she just saw me watching this moment, and I was like gasping and like making like probably little sniffling noises, and she was like, what is happening? And I started to tell her what was going on, and she even was getting teared up, and she wasn't even watching any of this stuff.
Dude, I was telling Johnny Lay about it, and she's like, oh my god, I have the chills.
So tell us about it. Like, let everybody who didn't see the awards know.
So this event during the Game Awards was actually the inspiration to this episode. Amir Satvat getting the Game Changer Award was just brilliant. So what he did was, this year in 2024, it has been a hard year for layoffs. Every time you open up IGN, Xbox, they closed down a studio, PlayStation closed down a studio, Nintendo. It's just nonstop layoffs from all parts of the gaming industry. Yeah. And there just doesn't seem to be an end to it. And it's easy to kind of just like forget that there's real people that are losing their jobs constantly with hundreds and thousands of layoffs. So what Amir did was, instead of sitting back and just taking this, he took it upon himself to help those who have lost their jobs get other jobs in different parts of the gaming industry. So what he did is he developed a free resource that gathers all of the open positions in one place so that these developers can go there and find a new job in the gaming industry. He has helped 3,000 plus people get new jobs in gaming.
So incredible, man. Like,
I just got chills thinking about that.
I know. It's I mean, you have to think about it. Imagine that you are struggling, right? You got laid off from your job. You are one person. You're one person who just, your whole family is now looking to you, trying to figure out, like, what are we going to do? What's our next steps? And what you did to depend on your livelihood was ripped away. You're one person take that whole experience of going from being ripped away from your job, finding the new hope. It's not just a job though, right? Like it's your well-being that you're actually getting back to, and he did that 3,000 times.
Which is wild. That is insane. Can you imagine if every industry in the world had an Amir in them?
Had this resource, had this guiding light. And man, when he went up stage and he was talking about it and accepting the award, and he just starts crying, I was like, oh my god. I didn't think I was signing up for this.
Dude, it was beautiful. And one thing that he said up there that just gave me body chills was just stating, as a matter of fact, I love video games.
Yeah.
And that is just something that we can all empathize with. That is just something that drives us to even do this podcast. What drove us to do this podcast drove that man to make sure that the gaming industry is alive and well, with developers who didn't just go and change their career or go and do something else. They love gaming just as much that they wanted to stay in the industry. And thanks to Amir, that was possible.
Yeah, it's very likely that the games that all of you and us will play in the next few years were because these developers got a job because of Amir. So from the bottom of our hearts here at Lobby Up, thank you, Amir, because you're what we're all about here at Lobby Up.
Yes, that is what we're all about at Lobby Up. And if we can just recognize, I mean, he was already recognized in one of the biggest stages in gaming,
Right.
But if he can come down to our little amphitheater and get a spotlight on him, we will do that, and we will do it every time.
Yes.
And listen, if there's somebody out there that you know that is doing great things, email us.
Yeah.
Let us know. We would love to have them on the pod. We would love to recognize them, because these kinds of people are the pillars that keep the video game industry alive.
Absolutely. Now listen, that was an incredible story to start off with, but we got even more for all of you guys. There's a lot to be thankful for, a lot of wholesome, good moments in the community, and I know that you've got one that you've been dying to share with me. So lay it on me, dude. I'm so stoked to hear what you got. What's your story?
So again, this episode was inspired by Amir and the good that he did for the gaming industry. But I found a more personal story that I heard a couple months ago about this gentleman named Caleb McAlpine.
Okay.
He is a diehard Borderlands fan and has been from the beginning. The thing is, he was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer.
Oh no.
Yeah, and it's devastating. It really is. Those who have family members, those who have dealt with cancers, us as nurses have dealt with many who are fighting for their lives with cancer, and stage 4 being a very aggressive stage in the cancer process.
Yes.
But he's in good spirits, and one of those things that keeps him going is gaming. He loves to game, and in particular loves Borderlands. So what Caleb did was go on to Reddit, and he was like, hey guys, listen, I have stage 4 cancer. I'm at my wit's end, because like deep in my heart, I feel that I won't be around to play Borderlands 4. And if there's anything I wish I could do before going, is just getting to experience Borderlands 4. And this kind of hit like really hard, because I love the Borderlands series. I played the first, I played the second, I played the spin-offs. Admittedly, I haven't played the third yet, but with the fourth on the horizon, I am more than excited to do the third.
Oh yeah.
And get ready for the fourth. So I empathize with that. I get it. And, I think about all the games in the future that you and I may never see, you know?
Yeah.
So
Kingdom Hearts 4.
So to stare your mortality right in the eyes and realize that you may miss out on something you love so much, again, he went onto Reddit and just told everyone his story. And then one of the greatest things happened, and it's something that gives me chills in any community, and that's when the community comes together.
Yeah.
And the gaming community put Caleb up front and center, and they got the attention of Gearbox, who are the developers for Borderlands. And they said, oh no, not on our watch. So they flew him and his friends out to their studio.
And his friends.
Yes. And he got to play Borderlands 4. And he said he got to play it for a couple hours. It's an early build, but straight from a true fan's mouth, he said that it is amazing. And that to me is worth more than any review that IGN, GameSpot
Yes.
could ever give.
Right.
If IGN gave Borderlands 4 a 5 out of 10, I know Caleb McAlpine played it and he said it's amazing, and that's good enough for me to go out and play it.
That's right.
So when I read that, dude, I was just super teary-eyed, but just happy that the gaming community was able to come for Caleb.
That dude, that is such a heartwarming story, and it actually takes me back when you and I were heavily anticipating Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
Yes.
Something similar happened years ago. There was another young person with terminally ill disease who was a huge fan of Smash Bros. And through the zeitgeist and our ways of being able to communicate with developers, they caught wind of it, and he was actually able to play it way before the release date.
Yes, so that was Chris Taylor, and I was very familiar with Chris Taylor. I am happy to say that I was a part of that push. I signed change petitions. I anytime I saw it, I retweeted it, I posted it, whatever I could do to get the message out to the few people that, you know, who follow my word in any way. I tried my best, but that was Chris Taylor, and they brought the game to him. He got to play the game with his friends and his mom in his bed. He said that he loved the game, that Smash Ultimate was probably his favorite, and 4 days later, he passed away after that. But you know what? Because of the gaming community and because his love of Smash, he got to move on, knowing that Smash Ultimate was probably one of the best in the series up until that point.
Being a huge fan, you know?
That's being huge. A huge fan.
That's awesome.
So moments like this, I'm a sucker for when the community comes together. And like I said earlier, whether it's gaming, the gaming community, or the knitting community, or the stamp collecting community, when a community comes together, it's just so intensely heartwarming. I mean, listen, every time I'm watching Kanto and when they go and rebuild their house, I cry every time, because just there's nothing like a group of strangers coming together for someone they don't know, purely out of love and respect, not only to them, but to the thing that binds us all together, and it's gaming.
Yes. And, you know, gaming is just a language for us to express that love, and all of that positivity comes together in a way that just impacts people so heavily. And that's what we're all about here at Lobby Up.
Absolutely. But listen, I mean, we're nurses, and we definitely are surrounded by everyone's mortality at any given point. So for our non-nursing listeners, this might sound like a very morbid question, but I have to ask Matt, like, if you had one chance to play a game early, knowing that your time was like intensely limited, what game would you like to play early?
A game that I want to play early.
Yeah, knowing that you won't be able to see the full release.
Well, you know, the first thing that comes to mind is Kingdom Hearts 4, but I kind of have a feeling that it would just kind of leave me
Say it.
I feel like it would leave me wishing I had made a different decision. So, you know, I think that you're
gonna come back and haunt the developers.
Oh man. You know, it's a hard question to answer. The sky's the limit type of situation. I'd love to see like a new like Half-Life game or like something like that.
Oh, yeah.
The whole community would just I could just be that, you know, that person that would push forward something that the whole community would want. So that would probably be a better answer, I guess.
Fair enough. I mean, listen, there's nothing wrong with wanting to play Kingdom Hearts 4.
There's a few things wrong with it.
But it's
and I know that. Okay, admitting it is the first step.
As for me,
what's your game?
You know,
what's your pick?
I've been wrestling with it. Sky's the limit. Sky's the limit. The next Zelda game, easily.
Okay.
Like, sky's the limit. There's been no talks about it. There's probably barely in the conceptual stage.
Probably.
But the next Zelda game, of course, the next Smash Bros. Game would be absolutely fantastic. But a more grounded answer where there is actual development happening, I would want nothing more than to play the next Elder Scrolls game.
Yeah, that's totally realistic too. It really is.
I think that's something that they could do for somebody that's their dying wish. Like I think that's it. It should be far enough, and if it's not, there's something wrong at Bethesda because this thing was announced a million years ago. But I do believe that there is some room there for someone to go and play an early build. But that would be my wish, is to play the Elder Scrolls, the newest Elder Scrolls. So yeah, shout out to Caleb McAlpine. Like you said, Matt, with the community coming together for gaming, that is what Lobby Up is all about.
That's right, dude. That is right.
So Matt, I gotta ask you, man, got my story. What you got for us, man? I really want to know what story you found in your travels over the last year.
So this is something that happened, and it's reached a climax early this year, but it's actually been going on for about 8 years now. And I just think that it's really cool because this is a game that came out 8 years ago, and it was hugely anticipated. I'm talking about none other than No Man's Sky. And this is, for those who somehow don't know, procedurally generated space exploration, going onto different worlds.
A never-ending universe.
Yes.
Is what they were. Yeah, I remember that.
Exactly, to where you can just leave one planet and then find some other planet that nobody's ever been on. Think Minecraft in the sense that you create that seed for a world and it's just randomly generated and completely unique. It's like that, but basically infinitely bigger and kind of on this more like sci-fi, almost more realistic scale, because obviously, because nothing's a giant cube. But anyway,
yeah.
So when the game launched, it was notoriously disappointing for the entire community. Everybody was so sad with what they got. It was a glitchy, buggy mess. It wasn't really fulfilling the promises of the gameplay.
No multiplayer, which was a big selling point for them.
Right. And I'm gonna be honest with you, dude. I was like, you know what? I play video games. I'm gonna give it a try. And around like 2017, 2018-ish, I tried it. And it was still very much a disappointment. I tried for hours just messing around, going through the planet, and it was not a hit for me. Flash forward to 2024. Sean Murray, who is one of the developers of the game, will not stop releasing free updates for this game. And you can see on the screen here, I've got this hilarious meme about how he's like, it's free update time. And that's really how it feels, because everybody's like, no, I can give you $5 if it supports the fact that we're getting these awesome updates. Yes, there's multiplayer. Yes, the gameplay's better. There's VR mode, which was
that's right,
probably nothing that anyone ever asked for, but they just did it anyway, and it's awesome. It's such a good example of when a developer's like, hey, I get it, this wasn't even my vision, and somebody is able to take responsibility and move forward. This is how you show your community that you love them.
They are, to me, one of the best examples of just going overboard on, and I'm sorry.
Yeah, right. And that's the thing here, is nobody really expected them to go this far, especially with one game. And what's crazy, and my whole talking point here now, is they have been developing an awesome looking game alongside all of this. So they just announced it a year ago at the Game Awards, but there was a game called Light No Fire. If you remember that, it's basically kind of like that same sandboxy, procedurally generated concept, but it's all the good things that they've gotten right in all of these updates of No Man's Sky in a new pretty package. And I mean, it looks awesome. People are riding dragons. People are developing their own little like village. It really actually feels like an updated version of Minecraft. It looks like a lot of fun.
Listen, this is a Christmas episode, so I'm going to keep my negative thoughts to an absolute minimum.
Oh no.
So instead of my negative hat, I'm going to put on my negative elf hat. so this is my slight negativity. I really hope that it doesn't take them as long this time to make sure that game is where it needs to be.
That's a fair point. Totally valid, fair point. Because no one should have to wait 8 years to get a complete version of the game that they were hoping to get initially. And to be fair, though, he's delivered a lot more than he even originally promised.
And again, so take the elf hat off.
He's naked.
So, so I do believe that this time around they will deliver, and I do hope that that's the truth. But regardless of the fact, the positive point here is that they never gave up on their vision.
Yes.
You know, we got this half-ass game in the beginning, and it was met with, like you said, even things that people didn't imagine would show up is there, all for free. Don't have to spend a dime. It's just one ticket at admission, and that is how games should be.
Yes.
All the time.
And I will go a step further and say that not only did they not give up on the original vision, they didn't give up on the community. And that's the huge driving force, the big takeaway here.
Which actually, I would flip that for you, bro. I like that the community didn't give up on the game.
Well, it's hard
what
not to when that purchase you made 8 years ago is constantly getting you free updates.
Yeah, but that is why they stuck around. But the fact that the community believed in the vision so much that they stuck around for 8 years, and it's not like it's just the original community that was in it at the start.
Right.
That community grew and brought more people in, and it's like, look, it's fixed. I know you had a bad time. I know it wasn't what you thought it was, but now it is. Come and play. That is awesome, and that is what La Via is all about.
And that's not the last time that we're going to say that this episode, I don't think. But takeaway here is, if you like developers that do this kind of stuff, they've got a new game coming out. We don't have a release date yet, but keep your eye out for Light No Fire, because this is what we want to see in our gaming community. That's where you vote. You vote with your wallet, and Light No Fire looks like it's going to be coming from developers who care about their vision and care about their community. But with all that being said, man, I actually have one more wholesome story for you.
Ooh, and this wasn't in our script.
No, it wasn't. And this is how I'm going to close out the episode tonight, y'all. But one wholesome thing that happened this year was actually at the very beginning of the year. And my wife and I made the decision that I was going to start travel nursing, but we still, because of our situation, I needed to go by myself. And so for 3 months, I was a whole 2 states away from my wife and many states away from basically anyone that I knew, in order to try to get us some more money. And it was tough. It was tough because obviously I'm, trying to make new connections, trying to get through this. And I remember just a lot of phone calls when we're catching up between my wife and I, just being kind of having a really sad overtone because we just missed each other. And it's tough not to just, after you kind of talk about your day, just to be like, man, I miss you. And the one saving grace that we had a lot of the time was just gaming together. And whether that was with just the two of us or with you, Lewis, and our friend Murph, I actually also got to game with my brother a bit, which is something that I just never really got to do ever. And I had the time to really just dedicate to trying to reach out to all my friends and family and just be like, hey, do you want to get together and game a little bit? And it made all of it not just more tolerable, but I think it's one of the biggest reasons that I got through it. And I remember just a lot of those conversations when we're gaming, just taking me to a little virtual place where I was a little bit closer to all the people that I actually cared about. And, that is what we're all about here at Lobby Up. So I really hope that all of you guys have that kind of connection when you sit down and you game with your friends. That I know that life can be hard. There can be a lot of negativity. There can be a lot of things that take us away from the good. But hopefully these little pieces of art can bring you a little bit closer to that. So thank you so much all year and tonight for lobbying up with us.
Thank you for an awesome 2024. See you guys.